Hey everyone, episode 2 of this new series on Melbourne Labels. I hope you enjoy. So welcome to the second installment that I've chosen to dedicate to the great Sape records through the prism of my own record collection. Obviously, I have a fair few records from Sape, and I think I was able to do it justice. I obviously don't have every artist recording under the label. But if you're from the label and you're watching this, you come across this video, I just want you to know this is a love letter to your label. I absolutely love what you're doing. I'm a fan, and this is no less than total appreciation. So I just want to clarify that in case you watch this video and you wonder what I'm doing here. My presence on YouTube is largely dedicated to spotlighting interesting things which go far and wide, rather than just talking about the obvious kind of records that everybody talks about. And for me, local labels are they're just totally incredible. I'm just very thankful and grateful that in Melbourne we have so many great labels. La Sape, or as a French person would say, La Sape, which is a phrase that means clothes, threads, stylish clothing. In fact, you can see it on their logo. It's like a very sartorially minded little character, very debonair with his cane, that represents the idea of La Sape, being clothed stylishly. What's the logo? The Society of Ambience Maker and Elegant People, which fits the idea. The other logo is also like a kind of a flower, which is kind of very instantly recognizable. So they were created in and around 2017. That's when I came across them. And I think the artistic direction of the label is loosely new jazz, broken beat, a bit of ambient dub here and there. But I think it's largely focused on jazzy, dancey, bouncy music, some sort of feel-good jazzy music. New jazz is sort of a mix between jazz with this kind of improvised feel, which is mixed with a lot of electronics. And if you like Flying Lotus or Thundercat or Nala Cinefro, they're all sort of kind of examples of what new jazz is in the broader context. But in Australia, we've got some great new jazz bands. And I discovered the label through this record, Godtet, the first album. So Godtet is a 6-piece or 5 or 6-piece from Sydney, led by this guy called Godriguez, who is the guitar player and the lead composer of the band. The first record, with its kind of a Jackson Pollock-esque, that just sort of immediately caught my attention, and with a name like Godtet, it's like quintet, fortet, or quartet, and then you got Godtet, which immediately, it's a clever kind of name for a band, and this whole round package just totally seduced me. I was at one of my favorite stores, Plug 7, and they had this on the Cine-based experimental ambient. Sorry, that's the wrong one. There's one here. They had Plug 7 favorite hectic improvised new jazz Cine toughness. So instantly I got into this record, which is a new jazz record. It embraces a lot of traditional jazz ideas, but brings them into a modern context with lots of live effects, and the drumming on this is fabulous in my humble opinion. And it's just a really, really great modern jazz record that is really highly accessible. and I really love this record. But if I'm going to go for a Godtet record, which I truly, absolutely love, it is the number 2, which goes more into a sort of a space jazz, ambient jazz kind of direction, with much more electronics, much more focused on, synth, and it really is a beautifully dynamic record. There's use of samples by Godriguez on this, and there's covers, and we have some great names that appear there. Quarteto MC, Brazilian band, Alice Coltrane, Jean-Luc Ponty, Zoe Zawinul, amongst others, Avopat. And this is just a tremendous, spacey jazz record, super, super funky. And I really love Alice, track number 4. It's got this kind of groove, which is almost trip-hop-esque. Number 3 continues in a similar direction as number 2. Maybe not to the same effect, I think, but it's nonetheless an incredible album with film and doof on it, which is absolutely fantastic. Godtet, love you, and we love Godtet. And I've sent so many of these records to my friends overseas, and because I just feel that they're such an amazing representation of the music scene that we have here in Australia. So again, in a sort of kind of spacey jazz direction. And then they sort of, after number 3, they sort of evolved into a different beast. Meditation Suite, that goes more into a totally ambient kind of direction, and I really love this too. I think this would almost be my second favorite Godtet record, because it's just so different from the others. It has a sort of, it embraces ideas from people like Brian Eno, and puts them into a context of a jazz band, basically. And again, it's all recorded live, no overdubs, like almost all of their records. And it has a very sort of deep, resonating sort of, it takes you into a sort of, jazzy abyss, if you like, this record. It's just, it's got a dark quality to it. I really love the side B, Meditation 3. It's really spacey and trippy. I love this. And the last Godtet record that I've bought, I haven't bought the very latest one. I've got 5 of them, and sometimes, when you've got a large record collection, you have to make choices as well. But this one is also a fabulous, fabulous record, which I would highly recommend to just about anyone. Godtet plus strings, featuring Novak Manoljovic. Here, Godtet take a direction which is more akin to a sort of trip hop in a sort of Portishead kind of a manner. There's like live strings on it. It reminds me of a lot of different things, but there's neoclassical elements to this music with the violin. You can hear that the influence of minimalist composers, as well as some very modern take on jazz, in the Andrew Hill kind of direction. And I really, when this came out, I was really, really blown away. The broadening on this is superb. Track 5, and you can see there's a large ensemble. So this is Godtet, another new jazz band that is very representative of the sound of Lisathe is this band. However, I must explain, when doing my research on Sape whilst doing this video, because I was just looking up their website, and I realized that this group no longer appears anywhere on the catalogue of Sape on their website. It's no longer one of their artists, and I'm talking about the JK group, which is a band that back when these records, 2007, I would have discovered this record around the same time as the Godtet record, the first Godtet, and I was really, really impressed with this record. So JK Group is Josh Kelly, who also goes on the name of Josh Moshe. I will talk about his record in a second. This band has been sort of disassociated with the label for my understanding, for political reasons. However, I'm not here to talk about politics. This album is firmly on Sape record, and I will associate it in this video. This band I will link, because I feel that they were very much a part of me buying those records, like continuing to buy these records, because I really love this. Again, this is well and truly a new jazz record. Again, there's this sort of very organic, dynamic, live feel, but there's a lot of emphasis on, this kind of soundstage, which has a lot of beautiful electronic touches, flourishes. Got the majestic drumming of Ziggy Zeigeist. I'm going to talk about Ziggy further later. Lewis Moody with the Rhodes and the synths, and that's what gives this kind of flavor. Obviously, Josh Kelly, or Josh Moshe, as his real name happens to be, who is like a rising star of the saxophone, really superb playing, just really incredibly incisive, dynamic playing, and this record is top notch in my opinion. That's their first album, The Young Ones. This album here, which I think could be more of an EP, I'm not sure anymore, because there's only 4 songs on this, but don't quote me on this. The JK Group Rising continues in a similar direction. If anything, adds a little bit more electronics to the mix, but is also a really, really wonderful record. The JK Group Rising, it evokes to me, shades of other acts that I love, like Floating Point, or I was talking about Nala Sinefro. I think there's very strong affiliation between those sounds. But if I was going to choose one, which I think is just mind-blowing, it's this record, which appeared under the name Josh Moshe, which is Josh Kelly, and which is called Inner Search, which he made when he was doing chemo because he had cancer, and it's very heavily influenced by, to me, it has echoes of really great Coltrane records. It's very, the blowing is very powerful. It's, like you could see someone who's dedicated to their art. So Josh Moshe grew up in South Africa, and then was born in South Africa, then moved to New Zealand, and then arrived in Australia and made his name on the scene. And again, you get Lewis Moody on this, and Ziggy Zeigeist maybe he's on this. No, I can't remember. In any case, very heavily influenced by this kind of 60s post-bop sound, and also Israeli folk song as well. Very, very, very much influenced by sounds of Israeli music, and I think it's a wonderful mixture of those two styles. And and I know Josh Moshe does not associate with this label anymore, but he was on Sape, and so I wanted to talk about it. So I was talking about Ziggy Zeigeist. I want to talk about this absolutely incredible record, Jin Mu, who we made with the flautist Horatio Tucceri. There you go, it's called Zeigeist Tucceri. This came out in 2021, and is basically an ambient flute record with some lovely woodblock playing. It has, yeah, it's like listening to a Chinese flute record, but with a much more ambient sort of cosmic quality to it. Jin Mu. It's just a sublime piece of music. It's absolutely, just a lovely Sunday morning record. Jin Mu. It just takes you places. It's yeah. So that's a record that I really, really love. Another artist that I think is brilliant on this label is the bass player Horatio Luna. And here we've got Yes Doctor, his first solo album. He's a big name on this scene here. He's a bass player. He's played with lots and lots of people. And here he's got Phil Stroud on drum, who I love as well. I mean, I've got an ambient record by Phil Stroud, which is just knockout. Dufresne is on synth and Ike on guitar. And here we have a record that I would describe as an sort of a broken beat ambient dub record. I re-listened to this a couple of days ago and I was just knocked out how just inventive and seamless this whole thing is. It's just a really wonderful piece. And I love the local reference, Brunswick, Brunswick Massive. Part 1 to Brunswick is a neighborhood of Melbourne, obviously. I personally find this record very, very satisfying from start to finish. It's got this kind of dubby, very earthy, dynamic sound. A mixture of new jazz and maybe dub and ambient dub, which works really well. And his latest record, which came out this year, it's one of these things that I grabbed at the Independent Music Exchange in Northcote, and I met the guys from Sape Records, and I told them how much I love their label. I bought this. This is the latest release by Horatio Luna. It's called Action Reaction, and this is quite a different direction. This is more funky. It has a far more sort of in your face, he's conjuring the funk on this, and it has echoes as well as really dynamic dance music. It echoes to me a little bit of house and techno on it, and yeah, bands he's got there, lots of keyboards and synths, and you can see it's a very full kind of a band. And he's got Only on this. Only is also another artist from the label, which I don't have records by, but I've listened to his records. And the last but not least, I'm sorry, seem to be a little bit in the dark-ish there, but that's fine. I'm going to finish very shortly. Is a reissue, and I think that's the only thing that they ever reissued, and I think it's really worth reissuing band. This is High Pass Filter. Nice coordinated outfit. A High Pass Filter was a band on the Melbourne scene who loosely fit in the trip hop ambient dub kind of category. Extrapolate 01 is like, there's some songs on this, they just blow my mind. Quango is amazing. Skint, I mean, there's a whole lot. So they were a band who relied on synths and electronic effects largely, and made this really beautiful mixture between trip hop and dubby ambient techno. High Pass Filter, and it's a double LP compilation basically of their, again, on the and the last record I want to talk about is the latest record that I've bought from them, which has got no vinyl, and which goes in totally different. There's no vinyl release. It's only in digital, and I bought it on Bandcamp because I felt like supporting the label. And it's this band here. I'm gonna put it here, and they're called Lisathe. I think that's how you say it. I'll write the name down, and you can imagine what it's pronounced. I've never heard it pronounced, so difficult for me. But this album is a post-rock album, very close to a Dirty Three record. It's very, very, very different for the label. It's completely different direction. If you're familiar with Dirty Three, the band from Mick Turner and Jim White and Warren Ellis, it's just like a trio of guitar, violin, and drums. We get a similar kind of mixture of instruments on this, and it's really lovely, except that they're using slide guitar rather than, but it's very eerie and cosmic and beautiful, and I hope they're released on vinyl eventually. Thank you for sticking with me through this rundown of Sape Records. Great label. I hope you enjoy, and if you have, just leave me some comments below. That would be appreciated, and I will continue the series with another fantastic Melbourne label. Thank you, everyone.